This podcast is a proud member of the Unidentified Network.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, live and in colour, it's Mr. Wayne Lovejuice.
The other day I produced a movie, had a chat with an interesting chappie who said that the YouTube algorithm really aren't that happy. If a channel only broadcasts once a week, so we decided we could text ya whenever we've got a piece of news in our new book on the track Xtra. In this episode, I want to talk about something which is really quite important in the way that the CFZ works, and certainly the way that I work. It will, I hope, answer some of the questions which you have been posing to me over the last few months. By the way, if you hear strange noises, it is the fact that I have Peanut, otherwise known as Captain Phenobilax the Magnificent, the orange cat who lives at the CFZ and believes that he is the alpha male of the household, asleep. Well, at the moment he's not asleep. At the moment he's looking threateningly at the dog who's making a noise at the other side of the room. But he's resting on my leg and purring very loudly. He's got the loudest purr of any cat I've ever met. And also got the most magnificent eyebrows. I will show you his eyebrows at some point because they really are magnificent. But I didn't want to talk to you today about cats' eyebrows. I am a scientist, and I always, even when I'm dealing with subjects which are not within the purview of established science, I always try to use the scientific method. I believe wholeheartedly in the scientific method. But, and now this is where everybody is going to either switch off or say, golly, John Downes is a silly old man, I also believe in magic. I don't believe in magic as a religious thing, although that undoubtedly exists. But it's not something that I have any interest in. But magic, as practiced by people like the late Tony Shiels, who was an adopted father to me and very much I'm very much his mentor. No, he's very much my mentor. I'm his mentee, I think the word is. I don't even know if mentee is a proper term. I got it from an old episode of Seinfeld. But he was my mentor, and I learned immeasurable amounts of things from him. And he was a wizard. He was the wizard of the Western world. He could and did practice magic, and I saw him do so on a number of occasions. And the magic he practiced was not anything to do with any religion. It was a craft that he was either born to or had taught himself, depending on which of his various stories you believe. I believe you could do magic, but I also believe you could make things up for comedy effect quite regularly and quite easily. And so even now, I knew him for over 30 years, and even now I'm still piecing together what were the bits that I knew of him from his stories, which ones were true and which ones weren't. But I'm digressing. Magic, as he practiced it, is a craft. It is a craft that one can learn, and it is a craft that, to use the vulgarism which is attributed to John Constantine, another magician from the north of England, and in this case a magician who, according to accepted wisdom, doesn't exist outside the pages of various comic books written by Alan Moore. But according to John Constantine about magic, anything can do it. Magic, by the way, is the use of various actions, ideas, beliefs, recitations, or rituals with the object of influencing actions in the natural or the supernatural realm. Many people claim they can do it, most can't. Can I do it? I've carried out various rituals in my time, but although I don't see any moral contradiction between the practice of magic and my own religion of Christianity, I usually choose to stick with the latter. Back in the day, dear old Tony Shiels, and this was round about the turn of the century, offered to make me his apprentice, offered to teach me what he knew so I could carry on his practice of alchemical magic. I said no, which I know disappointed him, but I have seen at first hand what can happen when one gets too closely involved with the various weirder parts of what is vulgarly known as the paranormal. I'm sure there are some people watching this who are going to get completely the wrong end of the stick and assume that I am saying that the study of various parts of Forteana is intrinsically evil or Satanist. Well, I'm not saying anything of the sort. That's a ridiculous thing to think, and it would be a ridiculous thing to say. What I am saying is that if you delve too deeply into certain subjects, you lay yourself open to something called psychic backlash. This is a term which I believe was coined by Tony Shiels, but I'm not sure. There was some debate about this on one of the Fortune discussion groups some years ago, and I'm afraid to my blushes I can't remember what the result or the outcome was. If anybody does know better than this and knows who did come up with the idea first, please put it in the comments below, because I really would like to find out. But for the moment, I'm going to go with it being something that Tony Shiels first enumerated. Tony came up with this term to describe the periods of diabolical bad luck, horror, pain, and illness and death, which can happen to people completely disparately, but all at the same time, when they have got too involved in the, how shall I say, darker side of Fortean research. It's happened to me. Back when I was finishing writing The Owlman and Others, and I was looking into some of the really dark stuff that has happened in southern Cornwall over the years, particularly the things which appear to have been committed by the Phoenician traders, the Phoenician tin traders, around about the time of the birth of Christ. And I started having an appalling run of bad luck. I had pets die, other pets escape and disappear and not be seen again. I had periods of serious mental health problems myself, and periods of appalling physical health problems. My family and my loved ones were suffering from different health problems. I had my 2 cars break down irretrievably on me, and then my wife left me. And after that I decided I was never, ever, ever going to put myself in a position where I could go through series of occurrences like that again. And I never have. This, believe it or not, is one of the reasons that we have humour and silliness in this show. It's not the only reason. I think the main reason probably is because me and Richard are idiots who like silliness, and that people involved with the show, such as the darling Miss Isabel and V. McCrinan, also like silliness, so we do silliness. But a significant reason is because, as Tony said, the old devil doesn't like the sound of laughter. And so, because we delve into strange and esoteric areas in this show, it's not purely about what tropical birds have turned up unexpectedly on British shores, or what species of whale has been stranded. We do go into the darker areas of esoterica, and so, as Tony instructed me, and as I have found for myself over the years, laughter is the best medicine, and it does keep one, or appears to keep one, relatively straight and relatively safe. And that's about it for this episode. I'll be back on Saturday. What's happening on Saturday? I've got no idea, but I'll tell you when it happens. And if you're watching on Saturday, Mr. McCrinan, if you're watching on Saturday, I'm going to be there doing the live chats and the notifications and all the other gubbins I do on a Saturday afternoon. And I will most certainly be seeing you.